Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. It is Erik Ten Hag's press conference reaction against Wigan in the FA Cup, a competition that Erik Ten Hag and Manchester United have to throw everything into. It's the only competition that we're left in a chance of a trophy. I don't think we'll win it. I don't think we will at all, but we've got to give everything to it and get as far as we can this season, and that is where we're at right now. We have Wigan away. The atmosphere there for the Wigan fans is going to be great, but they are in League Two, and this is a team that Manchester United have to be beating, especially with the fact that I assume it is going to be a fully strong squad, a full strength 11, because we've not got much games coming up, especially with the breakout of Europe. So Erik Ten Hag has put everything into it, and I saw someone in the chat before we went live saying, imagine losing to Wigan. Erik Ten Hag is fully capable of doing that. I mean, with some of the results we've had, I mean, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. Man United have to win this game. If we don't win this game, I mean, it would be completely ridiculous. So we have to win. Some stranger things has happened in football. Definitely stranger things has happened than Wigan beating Manchester United, but we have to win this game, especially on such a bad run of form that we've been on. But everyone, welcome to the chat. Straight away as well, before I get into Ten Hag presser, which there actually is a quote that relates to this. We were outside Old Trafford, and if any of you were on the Instagram live, you would have seen this. Me, Sam, Maud were all outside Old Trafford doing an Instagram live, just doing updates about the transfer window, Jadon Sancho, all that sort of news. And we saw two really nice cars parked outside Old Trafford, and we thought, that looks like some cars that a billionaire might drive, billionaire being Sir Jim Ratcliffe. We then got some exclusive news that Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Dave Brailsford was holding a staff meeting inside Old Trafford and on Teams for the staff at Manchester United. So we thought, that's defo Sir Jim. Next thing you know, Sir Jim comes walking past. We go over, we say hello, he says hi, and that's about it. But he was there holding a meeting at Old Trafford for the staff. One thing I did overhear is as I was walking around the back to see, you know, maybe the exit or entrance that maybe Sir Jim was going to come out of to see if he was going to be there, I actually overheard, because all the staff employees were coming out, and I heard there was like a group of lads and they were coming out and they were saying, you know what, that was really insightful. I was shocked at like how good that meeting was and how exciting it kind of seemed. So that's maybe some positive stuff. People love to say that we're on the payroll. We're absolutely not. I'm literally just reporting what I'm seeing, and that is what I saw and that is what I overheard today. So it's something to hopefully get excited about if staff were walking out of it with feeling positive and feeling like it was an exciting meeting. So I wanted to start the show off with that sort of news coming out. And if you want to see the videos and you want to see the full exclusive, make sure you head over to @TheUnitedStand. It is across our socials. The exclusive read, just so you've got a clear kind of view of what it is. The United Stand understands that Sir Jim and Dave Brailsford are conducting an all-staff meeting at Old Trafford, with sources confirming that some of the audience are in person and the rest are on Teams. Staff are said to have enjoyed listening to Sir Jim's plans, with one overheard talking about how insightful and exciting the meeting was. So that's the news coming from that. And if anyone watched the Instagram live, I actually had my glasses on. I was in full-on detective mode, seeing what was going on. So thank you for everyone for watching that and getting involved, and hopefully some positivity moving into this era. Everybody wants a full sale, of course they do, but hopefully something positive is going to come from Sir Jim coming in and putting people in charge of the footballing decisions that actually know what they're doing, and hopefully we can improve in that area. Man United fan for life said, seeing the new breaking news on the United Stand app for contracts. Yep, I'm going to get into that right now. Basically, the breaking news is Ten Hag on contract extensions. We are talking with Raphael Varane and Anthony Martial, and we have triggered the options on Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof and Hannibal Mejbri. So that's the breaking news on the contracts. Varane and Martial are in talks. Aaron Wan-Bissaka, Victor Lindelof and Hannibal Mejbri have all had their contracts triggered and extended. But before I go on to the contracts, because I have a lot to say on that, and I'm sure you guys have a lot to say on that as well, I just wanted to get onto this quote from Erik Ten Hag about Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos, because I mean, it's news that we all need to talk about and we all need to know about. So he says in the press conference on his talks with Ratcliffe and Ineos this week, very positive. We had a long meeting, many hours we sit together On many issues, we are on the same page. It was very positive, I think, on both sides. It was a very constructive meeting. They have good ideas. So that seems really positive coming out from Ten Hag. Obviously, he's not going to go into the presser and say, you know what, yeah, I'm not really a fan of these new people, new owners coming into the club, and we don't really align and I don't think it's going to work out. Obviously, he's not going to say that. But I think just the amount he said and the way he worded it shows Ten Hag was clearly very happy with how the meeting went, that they have the same ideas on a lot of things, that they agree on a lot of the same issues, and that they want to work together. They have good ideas. It was constructive. They're all words coming out of Ten Hag in a positive fashion towards Sir Jim. Obviously, he's going to want to keep his job, which does seem like it's, getting more and more up for debate whether that should happen. But Erik Ten Hag and Sir Jim and his team having them meeting for hours on end and talking things through, it seems to be a positive for Ten Hag. And like I said, if anyone is Ten Hag out, I understand your reasons, but I don't think any change is going to be made until at least the end of the season. So Sir Jim and his team and Ten Hag will continue to talk throughout the season, I'm sure. Obviously, results have to improve. Like losing to Wigan would be like unthinkable, really, for Erik Ten Hag. And other results, especially now out of Europe, we've got near enough one game a week. We've got to step it up, and we've got to do better throughout the season. But decisions won't be made quickly, I don't think, on the manager. I think it will be towards the end of the season what happens. But the fact that they're in talks and they seem positive, hopefully the recruitment, and because the recruitment's the absolute main thing that's been going wrong for Manchester United. I feel like I'm a record on repeat saying this. It's like, is the sky blue? You know what I mean? Of course the recruitment is terrible, and that's something that needs to be addressed immediately. But obviously Ten Hag's in-game management needs to get better. There's other things that need to improve. But the fact that Ten Hag seems to be positive around Ratcliffe and Ineos and the conversations, seems like the relationship started off on the right foot. But as we know, things can change, but that's the way it is so far. And this is what I mean. People saying Potter is just paper talk, Southgate's paper talk. I've not even seen anything on Southgate. Don't even utter Southgate. Honestly, please don't. That would be absolutely devastating in my opinion. I think he should be nowhere near the Man United job. But Graham Potter as well. Potter for me is just, I can't tell you how disappointed I would be if Man United got rid of Ten Hag and the appointment was Graham Potter. I genuinely would struggle to come to work for the week. Like, I would struggle to get out of bed. Like, it would be like so disappointing. Just not, for me, not the type of manager that should be leading Manchester United Football Club. And people might think Ten Hag isn't the right one. I'm still undecided on that for now. But Potter for me would be an absolute no-go. So I hope it is just paper talk, and Ten Hag, and without a doubt, I'm sure Sir Jim's team and Ineos will be having conversations about it, especially with the run of results. Of course there'll be conversations, but I don't think anything will have developed in any significant way about getting a new manager in at the moment. Hopefully Ten Hag can turn it around with his team, and hopefully by the end of the season we're talking about Ten Hag going into a summer transfer window, having turned it around and looking a lot better, and having the backing of Ineos and Sir Jim and things changing. But anyway, let's move on to the contract situation. So as I said, on the contracts, they said they were talking with Rafa Varane and Anthony Martial, triggered on Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof and Hannibal. And what the interesting thing is on Martial and Varane's contract, Erik Ten Hag says that I think it is an internal discussion between the club and the players. For me, the discussion would be quite simple. Raphael Varane, we want you to stay on a reduced contract. 340 grand a week just isn't the direction we want to go in. You have had quite a few injuries, and it's probably not a long-term project, but we really want you to stay. We love your mentality. We love your professionalism. We think, we've got this plan for you for the next 1 or 2 years. We'd love you to stay on a reduced contract. That's the direction we're heading in. Hopefully he takes it. Anthony Martial should be, unfortunately, Anthony, we're not looking to extend your contract right now. Thank you for the last 7 years, but I think it's best that we move on in different directions. That should be the discussion, in my opinion. That's the way I'd go about it. Obviously, I don't think Varane is a professional footballer and athlete that's won everything there is to win in the game and is absolutely unbelievable, would want to decrease his pay. But realistically, can we afford to be keeping Raphael Varane on 340 grand a week when it's 2 games in, a couple games out, 2 games in, a couple games out, and we're probably going to be looking to get another right-sided centre-back in the summer. I think we should probably look to reduce the wage. But but let me get this very clear. I want Varane to stay. And I'm not saying reduce it down to like 100 grand a week, but going down to like 200 grand a week, it's still unreal money. But Varane is obviously probably got a lot of pride and deserves to have that, especially the way he's had such a wonderful career. And the thing is, what would really kill me is if we had Lindelof, Maguire and Evans been great this season. Evans has been great. Maguire's been good when he's played. Lindelof we know is a good rotational centre-back. But what would kill me is if we had, the likes of Lindelof, the likes of Maguire still at the club and Varane leaves. Like that would kill me, because I feel like you're keeping players that aren't as good as Varane. So why are we doing that? But Man United should look to resolve this, and I hope Varane does take a smaller deal, because a reduced deal, and it's still going to be a shed loads of money, and I think that's what Manchester United are planning to offer him, according to a lot of reports. But that is what Erik Ten Hag said on that. But I would not be surprised if both Varane and Martial went in January, and I'd be gutted if that happened. But Martial, I think, will definitely go, and he should go. Varane, I hope he ends up staying. And then he got asked on Jadon Sancho potential loan move to Borussia Dortmund, and Ten Hag said there was no news on Jadon Sancho's potential loan move. He said when he has news, he will bring it. So they're not going to say anything until it's completely confirmed. We've not had the here we go yet, but we know it is very close. And then Ten Hag got asked about Onana and AFCON and the situation with him either coming or going, basically. And he said, we're talking with the Cameroon Confederation about Onana. It was an issue during the talks with Andre when he came in here. It is constructive. So on this, obviously when Onana came into the football club, Erik Ten Hag and the Manchester United recruitment team clearly knew about AFCON that was happening this year and clearly wanted Onana available. Now he looks like he would be missing a few games. Man United and Erik Ten Hag, for some reason, want Onana to stay and play the maximum games as possible, because clearly they don't think Bayindir is up to playing. Like, that's the only reason it can be, because it's not as if Onana's been carrying us this season. It's not as if he's been absolutely ridiculous and we need him we rely on him heavily to win our games of football. If anything, he's not been that great. So the fact that they're massively pushing for Onana to stay makes me think, like, how poor is Bayindir? Even though we've heard that Bayindir is great in training, I don't know what it is, but Ten Hag clearly wants him to stay, which is interesting, because Ten Hag said on Onana's availability for Spurs, he said, we will see, I don't know yet, but he will be here for the game against Wigan. So Onana's going to play against Wigan, which I don't get. Surely Bayindir could have an opportunity against Wigan. I understand the fact that Ten Hag will play his first team in this game, because he has to win. You don't take any risks. And it's a competition that we have to succeed in, because it's the only one left that we're competing in really this season now. So he will play his strongest 11. Does he not want to throw Bayindir into that? Does he not trust him to throw him into that? But I struggle now, from now until the end of the season, I really struggle to see where Bayindir gets a kick, gets a minute. I don't think he will, and it's like, why? What's the point of bringing him in then? I get he's a second keeper, but surely he's good enough to be a cup keeper. Remember, when Onana left Ajax, there was reports coming out from all of the outlets that Ten Hag and Ajax wanted to sign Bayindir as Onana's replacement. Ten Hag's liked Bayindir for a long time. So why doesn't he trust him to play in the FA Cup against Wigan? I don't get it. Like, we heard he's good. We've seen his agent coming out talking about how he wants to take the number 1 spot, and he thinks he's good enough to do that. And I've heard he's great in training, but he can't be good if Ten Hag doesn't trust him to play in this game while Onana's at AFCON, and he's on the phone to the Cameroonian Federation saying, please let Onana stay and play the games for us. So depending on how Cameroon do in this competition, Onana might not miss a single game for Manchester United, and Bayindir might not get a single kick. If Cameroon end up doing well, then Bayindir might have to be called upon. But it's a bizarre situation. It really is bizarre, and I'd love to just have a frank conversation and say, why? What? The only thing I can think of is that Ten Hag just doesn't trust Bayindir to play. And then Ten Hag on the team news. I think we have some on more or less the same squad as against Nottingham Forest. I think it will be a full strength 11 against Wigan. It has to be. Ten Hag sold Kovar. He was good. Kovar was good. He was very good. But I can understand why he wanted to play more football. And Bruto says, isn't Bayındır Turkey's #1 goalkeeper? Yeah, I think he is. So, if I was Bayındır, I would be knocking on Erik Ten Hag's door, and I'd be saying, look, what do I have to do to get a minute? Let's be honest with ourselves here. If you're Bayındır, you're thinking, Onana's not done very well so far this season. He's now going to AFCON, and the manager that bought me is doing everything he can to get Onana to stay just so I don't have to play any football. I'd be thinking, does he really not rate me at all? I'd go in and ask him, say, what's the plan? Am I going to be a cup goalkeeper? Am I good enough to be relied upon? If not, then what was the point of me being second keeper if I'm not good enough to play? So I would really kind of want to have that conversation if I was Bayındır with Erik Ten Hag, because I'd be thinking to myself, what do I have to do? It's not as if Onana's pulled up trees this season. And I am one of them people where Onana is #1. I think he should be #1. If he makes any more mistakes, there's got to be question marks whether you do go and try Bayındır. But still, it seems very, very odd that Ten Hag doesn't trust Bayındır to call upon him while Onana is at AFCON. It's a bizarre situation, but let me know in the comments what you guys think. Going into the Wigan game in the FA Cup, I honestly, if I was to say what I think the starting 11 would be, I think it would be probably the exact same team that played against Nottingham Forest. But I would start Ahmad on the right, and I wouldn't start Anthony. Actually, it's an interesting situation here because Højlund's going to be back. So do you play? Okay, so what I would do is I'll just go through the starting 11 I would play because I forgot that Højlund is going to be back. So I would go with Bayındır in goal, but I think Ten Hag will go with Onana. You've got to go, depending on whether, well, he said it's more or less the same squad, but he said it's more or less the same squad, so you would think Luke Shaw isn't back. So I'd go with Bayındır in goal. You'd go with Wan-Bissaka right back. You'd go with Varane and Evans as the centre-backs. You'd go with Dalot left back. You'd go with a midfield three of Mainoo, Eriksen and Bruno. And I think you'd go with a front three of Rashford off the left, Garnacho off the right and Højlund down the middle. Ahmad to come on off the bench, in my opinion. I think Højlund's got to start up front. It's a good game for him to get some confidence, hopefully get a goal or two. You'd think Wigan are in League Two, and I don't want to disrespect him, but it's a good opportunity. It's a good opportunity for this team to build a bit of confidence. I mean, if we can't stick a couple of goals past Wigan, I'm going to be scratching my head. I know we've been on a goal drought this season, and I know that we've struggled to score goals. If you look at our attacking stats, they're in the bottom 3 of the league. But if we struggle to put a couple past Wigan, I will be scratching my head. They're not even a championship team. Like, we've got to go out there, especially with a full-strength team, and really kind of show what we're about and use this as a game to build a bit of confidence up. Colin Felix says, Onana is the new Weghorst, should have got Maignan. I think that's unfair. I think that's unfair. Don't disrespect Weghorst. I'm joking. But when it comes to Onana, obviously he started poorly, and obviously fans are going to question whether we should have made that appointment. Myself, I look back and I think, right decision, but was it the wrong personnel to bring in? But I also think we've got to give him a bit of time. It's a tough position to come into, but he's not been good enough so far this season. He absolutely hasn't been. Let me have a look what other people are saying. Bench Bruno, McTominay, play Mainoo and Amrabat. Amrabat's going to AFCON, so I don't think Amrabat will be available. Unless, actually, no, will he be available for Wigan? He was injured, wasn't he? He was injured last game, and Ten Hag said there wasn't going to be too many adjustments to the squad, so I don't think Amrabat will play. And Bruno never misses a game, and it's not as if he has to, because we've got a full week then until Spurs. We've got Spurs the next week, but we've got a full week, so why do we need to rest players? We don't need to. You've got to really keep players in a bit of the rhythm, to be honest with you. Zeno says Casemiro and Martinez are in training. Do you reckon they'll be available for Wigan? Maybe off the bench, but I highly doubt it. I really don't get why he would bring them in so soon if we don't necessarily need them, and I don't think we should be needing them in the game against Wigan. Maybe he'll bring them off the bench in the last 10 or 15 minutes to give them a run out, because he might bring them back in for the Spurs game if they're available, because that is a game at Old Trafford where Man United have to go out there and put on a performance. You know, the fans, they'll be there at Old Trafford. We've seen a lot of rubbish recently. We're against Spurs, who have already beat us previously in the season at their place. We'll want to get our revenge. And, you know, it's even though a lot of people think Man United are written off for top four, I'm one of them. I don't think we'll get top four. It is part of the top four race, and we've got to go and beat them. So he'll probably want to call upon Casemiro and Martinez in that game if they'll be available. But it's tough to throw them in after they've just come back from a very long-term injury. But it'll be interesting. Pellistri, another one. I mean, if we go out there with a full strength 11, finish Wigan off quickly, then you can afford to, you know, go and look to the bench and give people minutes. Hannibal minutes, you know, Pellistri minutes, Anthony minutes, like Ahmad minutes. There's players that you can go and give minutes to if we go off and finish them off early, which we should be. We should be doing that. But anything can happen in the FA Cup. It'll be interesting. But Erik Ten Hag, with all the results that have gone against him in recent months and how poor this season's been, there is no other option against Wigan to win, and we have to win, and we should be beating that team. But the fact it's actually creeped into my head, you know, what if, shows how low on confidence we are with this team at the moment. But that was Erik Ten Hag's press conference. Remember to check out all the social stuff on the United Stand socials regarding Sir Jim being at Old Trafford today for the meeting with Dave Brailsford. Thank you, everyone, for getting involved with the chat. Garnacho on the right. Yes, Garnacho on the right. He played really well there against Villa. I would like to see that front three play together again. I know it's against Wigan, but I think that's our best front three, and Ten Hag should be looking to strengthening the way that they play together. But thank you, everyone, for watching. Make sure you hit a like on the video on your way out. Have a lovely evening. Stay tuned for the 8 p.m. show, and also there should be a Sancho Here We Go coming at some point, whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow. It should be coming soon. But thank you, everyone, for watching. We will see you on the next one.